Many basketball players dream of playing in the NBA. The reality is, even top-tier NCAA players have only about a 1% chance. But the opportunity of playing professional basketball increases slightly if players consider options other than the NBA. But adjusting to a new country, new lifestyle, and new culture can be difficult.
Started off in Turkey, went to Venezuela, Israel, France, from France back to Turkey, then to Argentina, and then China.
Jason Dixon played 16 seasons abroad in 6 different countries.
I learned wherever you go, learn the history of that place where you are.
This former Liberty player spent the majority of his career in China, 10 seasons in the Chinese Basketball Association for the Guangdong Southern Tigers. In China, fan support for basketball is high, and Jason adapted quickly. But adjusting to Chinese culture, that would take a little more patience.
China was tough. I kid you not, it was tough. Food was tough. Their lifestyle tough, culture tough, everything. They're very touchy-feely, very curious people. So they don't mind touching you. And if you're just different. It's not racism, it's just they don't see a black man with hair. And they're touching your skin, and you're like, dude, get off me.
Jason says the biggest eye-opener came at a Chinese national tournament while walking near a then 16-year-old 7'6" Yao Ming, the most well-known professional player in China.
I'm walking behind Yao Ming a couple feet. No one looks at him. They stop and look at me. And I was like, do these people not see this big 7'6" dude?
Ming would move to the U.S. and become an NBA All-Star. Jason would stay in China.
I didn't want to. I got comfortable. Then I fell in love with winning. The team we were on was a mediocre team. And I could see how the way I improved, the team would improve. And we were winning. And I just fell in love with winning, honestly.
All that winning made Jason a household name.
Over there, you're a victim of your own fame. Everything you do, people know who you are. They're in your face, especially with camera phones. And want autographs.
While in China, Jason won 5 CBA championships, averaged 18 points on 58% shooting, and pulled down 10 rebounds per game. In 2009, Jason retired from the CBA after playing in 369 games, the most ever by a foreign player. Then in December of that same year, Jason would have his number 15 jersey retired.
I was like, really? Why? But then once I saw all my stats, I was like, okay, top 3 in rebounding, top 10 in scoring, games won, all this stuff. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, thank you, hey.
Jason was only the second CBA player to have his jersey retired. The first was Yao Ming.
Box first.
Jason is now back in the U.S. and back on the court.
Look ahead.
As a head coach at Gateway High School in Aurora, Colorado, near his hometown of Denver, having his patience tested once again.
Isaiah, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off.
My cousin is my assistant coach.
Isaiah, you got to sprint, Isaiah.
He's always pulling me back down.
Jump up!
Because he says, you're teaching like a pro. Like I'll say reverse pivot. And they'll say, what? I'll say reverse pivot, face up, jump shot. They're like, what is a reverse pivot? It's like, oh, okay. I have to get back to the very, very fundamentals, catching the ball and being strong with the ball.
Good, stress him, stress him, stress him.
As Coach Dixon shares his knowledge of basketball,
Keep him there, keep him there.
he's reminded of what he learned more than 20 years ago.
I didn't know what Liberty was teaching me until I left. And then I actually picked up the spirituality. It was sort of, in my opinion, I was being force-fed. Like, you have to do this, you have to. Then I got into the world and it was like, you don't have to do it. But then you're so used to it, you're like, well, that's what I want. Then you get around people who are not in that life, who are not saved, who are not in the Word. You're like, dude, that's how you talk? That's what you do? And you think this is acceptable? Then you realize, like, no, I'm gonna go back to what I was taught at Liberty.
Good back tap.
Coach Jason Dixon will continue to share what he's learned and relearned.
Take one, step early.
About basketball
Good.
and his faith
Look long.
with the next generation of potential pro players.